the talk and sing the rhyme. Confidence so heavy it stops time. Eyes on the prize, yeah, that's the line. Step in the room, it's my pick.
Welcome to another episode of the Speak Like the Boss podcast. I'm Anthony. This is Chase. What's new this week?
Man, same stuff, different day, different week. I feel
Okay.
good, man. Everything's on point. Slowly, just same story as last week. Getting there.
Getting back in shape.
Yeah.
Good. Let's steal this mic and put it closer to me today.
Yeah. So there actually is something. Probably have a question about.
Okay.
And this is more for the sake of the podcast. It's not like I feel like at this point it's a little too much over analyzing or looking into it too much. Clearly I'm not going to be the best looking guy at the gym.
Okay.
There's a girl. She's very attractive. I try not to, look at anybody when I'm in the gym, but
Yeah.
definitely notice her. She's probably, she's definitely at least slightly better than average looking. I feel like she's been, I don't know if she's been intentionally hovering around me this past week or so.
Okay.
I've definitely put myself kind of in put myself in a position to like make eye contact with her or something occasionally. But you don't want to stare. So,
Okay, so casual eye contact, no staring. You've crossed paths with each other.
absolutely. Like she will literally come up and use something right next to me. And she's closer than we are now. And then just sit there for a second. And it's almost like she's staring off in a gaze or something. She probably is thinking about something, but at the same time, it's like, oh, is she trying to wait for me to look over so she makes eye contact? I don't know. I really wish she could be there because that would
Tell you
that
for
would
sure.
help out a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't like approaching people at the gym. And like I said, I'm definitely, at least until I get back in good shape, there's too many other good looking dudes around there, honestly.
That's the problem because you start judging yourself based on everybody else, and attraction isn't always just looks, right? But that's the initial attraction. So it's like it's one of those snakes eating its own tail, where it just kind of goes around in a circle. What do they call that? The Ouroboros.
Yeah, Ouroboros.
Right?
Yeah.
So, it obviously before she ever gets to speak with you, talk to you, understand your personality, find out if you're funny, this, that, the other, or what you do for work, she's just going to be triggered by looks. And if you're saying there's other attractive men that you don't feel like you're on par with them, it's hard to think that you're standing out.
I will say,
you have to have more than just a look, I would say.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
I will say, another female who I'm just friends with, but what does this person know? This random person know?
Yeah.
Came up and actually made the compliment with that girl that I'm talking about in question nearby, like, oh, you're looking bigger, you look good, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I was like, I gotta lose a few inches. I was like, but yeah, I feel good, this, that, whatever. Just small talk.
So you're being noticed.
I guess not necessarily by the people I want to be noticed by yet, but if she was around, she had to hear the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I will tell you is attractive about the gym and frequently going? It's not necessarily what you currently look at but your consistency.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Yeah. That's got to stand out to a girl as well. Like, oh, this guy's really putting in the effort to, get himself together or doing whatever.
Sorry, I'm playing with the mic a lot. I'm not trying to.
No, I know. I was doing the same thing. We're going to have some noises in the beginning for sure. But, I think that's... it's hard to say go in on that kind of situation. I definitely
am not going in yet. Like,
you might need to wait for a little more cues or something like that. But what I would do is put your own flirting into play with, like you said, the eye contact and things of that nature. Let her at least know that you're interested in her without actually telling her.
I got you. Okay.
Start dropping some breadcrumbs,
Okay.
And then go from there, and then when you feel like the moment's right. You know, and like we talked about, I think in one of the earlier episodes, how would you approach somebody at the gym? Bringing up something that has to do with maybe the gym or a situation around you is a easy icebreaker, because then it doesn't seem like you're hitting on them just to get their phone number. You're talking to them for a purpose.
Yeah, but it's got to be. There's so. It almost has to be something that's happening in the moment for it to not, at least in my opinion, for it to not sound like I'm literally just looking for a reason to talk to her,
I
right?
think. Right.
Because I mean, that just, if she's into me, she's into me. But if not, then it makes you look that much more.
You could spin it with something like, maybe you notice a specific exercise that she does that's not like a female centric exercise, and be like, hey, you got really good form with that. You mind showing me something? Put the roll on the other foot, and that threw you back for a second. You thought about that, right? Because most of the mistakes that guys make in the gym is they try to help the girls with their form. It's never the other way around.
Doesn't that like kind of put her in a position of power though, which is not really what we want, right?
Not a position of power, but in a,
or I guess like a dominant. I don't know.
it
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you get where I'm going.
I get
with
where
this.
you're going
Yeah.
with it, right? Not necessarily because you have zero relationship right now. You have nothing. There's no connection at the moment, right? So what that will do is it'll surprise her. Because I guarantee you, if guys have approached her in the past in the gym, it's not for that.
Right.
It's going to be a
of
first,
course.
right? And then the second thing that it would do is, if you know that she's consistent and you're seeing her multiple times, like the same amount of times you're going.
Yeah, I mean, except for like I go on Saturdays. I don't see her on Saturdays, but she could be
throughout
there
the
and
week,
just
right?
yeah, 5 days a week at least.
So there you go. So what it's going to do is it's going to show that all that effort and work that she's putting in is being noticed. And that's a confidence booster for her.
So I actually, you brought that up. I actually thought about this.
Yeah.
What would something like this sound?
Okay.
Just go up and kind of be like, hey, I just got to say, you're like the only girl in here who's super consistent and doesn't look butch. And I just,
No.
I didn't think so.
Don't.
I just,
You can start the same, but don't end with the butch. You go, hey, I've seen you in here, and you're the only girl in here that I would actually take advice from on how to do so and so lift.
She would know that was bullshit, because there's a couple of chicks in there honestly that are bigger than me. Yeah. And they're like show performers and stuff. Okay. Like, yeah, they like consistently do shows.
I gotcha. Okay, then maybe that. See that, and that's why I said you got to know the environment, right? You got to know what's going on around you and how to really talk about what's happening. That's a tricky situation without knowing all the context and who's there all the time and what your competitors look like and what her competitors look like, what the other women look like, you know? Is she your height, shorter?
She's we probably see eye to eye.
About the same.
I mean, if anything, she's like maybe that much shorter than me. Like a quarter inch or so, half inch. Nothing. It's super negligible.
Do you see a lot of people consistently, or just her and maybe a couple others?
This is a fairly popular gym. There's a good chunk of people that I see consistently.
Yeah.
Most of the women, they're either like they do shows. They're bodybuilders, I guess,
Gotcha.
or like physique models, I guess is the proper term. I don't know much about the women's side, but anyway, or it's like the rest is like all dudes, or they're there. The women, like I see women consistently there with their boyfriend, but only when their boyfriend is there.
Right, drags them along with them.
Very, very few outside of that. She's one of the few, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Because that could be a talking point too. Is just that you're seeing her more consistently than other people. Like, hey, we keep running into each other. Because if you're seeing her this much, she has to have at least noticed that she's seen you more than once. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. I don't. We're talking about confidence today. I don't want to sound. I feel like this is a more realistic take.
Yeah.
But why would she notice me when there's so many dudes who are taller, better looking, in better shape?
She may notice them for the day, but I'm saying notice you because you're there all the time. You see what I'm saying?
But that's what I was saying. There's several dudes there.
If there's multiple guys that are always there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fairly popular gym. There's a lot of bigger dudes that are there.
I would do this. I would use your gaydar, non-gaydars, and try to figure out who you think the most attractive dude in the gym is. Okay?
Okay.
Once you do that, you know how you said she was like coming to exercise by you and things of that nature? See if she's doing that or trying to interact with him.
Oh, well, I can tell you for sure that's definitely not it. Not that I'm like, I don't want to sound like a creep, like I'm watching her or anything.
No, I know.
Like,
But see if she's interacting with the other dudes, I guess is what I'm saying.
she's usually kind of by herself unless she just has to be at a machine that's on top of somebody. But I mean, like I said, this week I've definitely noticed, whether it's intentional or not, she's a
near.
lot close. Yeah, she's a lot closer to me. If we're there at the same time.
I will tell you the other thing sometimes about women is they do appreciate comfortability. If a guy's too good looking, it scares them. It turns them off from
It's
them.
kind of like guys with chicks, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you'll almost be like, oh, he's probably a douchebag or this or that. Or there's a little bit of a turnoff if he's too good looking. They think he's not in her league, even though he might be, and she might be the best. But
Yeah, she's like a solid 6.
she might be comfortable with
She's
you.
cute. She's very cute, yeah.
You know, so that could be part of it too. You know,
Honestly, and again, this isn't like a no motive, or this isn't like a bad this isn't like a low confidence thing. It's just how it is. I mean, I've dated a girl who's my height or a little taller before, but that's just not. Normally, it's you're not tall enough. You know, it's just.
well, that's
It makes
why
it even harder to say
I think
something.
the best thing in that situation, because the gym environment and some you're going to see consistently like that. Try to just, if you ever get the opportunity, start the conversation as friendship, and then like a week or two after that, then move in for the next step. You know what I mean? Like just introducing yourself on the first one, cool, da da da. So what do you do, da da, and that's it. And then leave it alone. Don't talk about date. Don't talk about numbers. You know you're going to see her again. She's there all the time. Leave it alone. Say hello the second time. The third time, then say, after we know each other, she's still smiling, saying hello to you. Hey, how you doing, Chase? What da da. Okay, well, why don't we go do something one day?
It's gonna be hard to find a way in to just come up with like a natural conversation.
Yeah, one of our other mutual friends has gotten 2 girls' numbers from the gym, and he's pretty much just going in front of them, waving.
Hey,
Hi,
I
you
mean,
guys. You know?
I mean,
He's trying to
he's
get
a
in.
little bit taller than me, and I mean,
he is.
I've seen before and after pictures. Dude has lost an insane amount of weight.
A
I
lot.
mean,
a lot of weight. I met him when he was much bigger.
that's actually well. I'll wait till we kind of get to that part. But that speaking of, that's something
Wanna
I was going to bring up
talking
today.
points?
Is like, yeah, you really might not even have to have game. You just walk up and tell them they look pretty and say, "Hey, would you like to go out with me?"
Could be, if you're the right type. Well, let's jump into it then. So, first topic of today, the positive mindset. So everything today is just basically mindset of dating and meeting people and all that stuff. So the positive mindset, maintaining a positive outlook on dating. I've got 2 talking points on here, but I'll let you start us off. What are you thinking?
So typical commentary that I have.
Yep.
Guys out there that are listening, think of it like this. If one girl says yes, that might be it, right? That might be your. No, I mean, statistically speaking, it's probably not. But
Right.
one girl can say yes, and then that's your person for however long, right? It's like in martial arts and jujitsu, right? If you're attacking, you're winning. If I'm attacking, I only have to sink the choke once to beat you, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you approach it that way, eventually someone's going to say yes, and then.
So you're saying stay positive by keeping your head up and know that eventually somebody's going to say yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I gotcha. My first one is reflecting on your strengths, your values, and your goals, and understanding that everyone does not share the same vision.
Yes.
So we've talked about strengths and visions and goals and qualities and all that stuff in the previous episodes, but if any of those things doesn't land you the date, doesn't land you the girl, doesn't get you to where you want to be, understand that they may not share that same vision. Basically, they're not going to align with you, and that's okay. Everybody has a different thing. Somebody may want kids, somebody may not. Somebody may want tall, short, fat, wide, green octopus. Everybody's into something. If you've ever been on a corn website, there are a million different varieties of corn for a reason, because everybody wants something different, right? So don't take it personally. Understand that, keep your same goals and your vision of what you want your relationship to become, and understand that you're just going to keep looking for the same person that aligns with you.
We've said it a few times now. Guys who are 9s and 10s get shot down all the time.
Yeah.
Women look for something to disqualify you, and if they just think you're not their cup of tea, you could be a model, and that's
I've
just how
seen
it's gonna
9s
go.
and girls tell him his eyebrows are too perfect. Or
Yeah,
there's all sorts of crazy. He looks gay because he's too metrosexual. He's too put together.
Yeah. Like he looks too feminine. He's
too feminine, right?
He's too good looking.
Yep. He looks better than me. I've heard that too. So,
yeah.
I mean, whatever floats their boat, I guess. My last one on at least this topic is, remember that rejection is a natural part of dating. Kind of what you already posted on, but it's...
Yeah, I mean, and I was going to bring that up later too, but yeah, that not that that's anything groundbreaking, but yeah, it's part of dating.
It is what it is. So if you are a person who isn't in the realm of dating right now, and you're about to get into it, or you're just dabbling your toes, or you're getting back into it because you're newly single, understand and remember, because it may have been a while for you, rejection is just part of it. So if you're not ready for the rejection, then you're not ready to get back out there.
It's like going fishing, baby.
Yeah.
You ain't always going to catch a fish.
No, absolutely right. That's true. Did you have anything else on positive mindset?
Not without getting into the other stuff we have lined up.
Okay. So the second topic is overcoming fear, addressing fears and anxieties related to dating. What do we got?
So it's hard knowing that you're going to face rejection and still get out there and do it, or at least it could be, right? If you don't really have that experience.
Okay.
That's what's going to prevent a lot of guys from getting out there, right?
Yep.
But I mean, kind of going back to what we just talked about, you have to realize you're going to take a few L's. But if you don't get that experience, you can't realize for yourself that it's really not that bad. Or like the way I heard someone put it earlier this week was, it's not that the rejection hurts any less, but the more women you talk to in this way, the more women you approach, the more you start to look forward to that next approach, I guess is the best way to put it. So like, you get rejected, and eventually at some point it's like, ooh, that hurt. Okay, where's the next one? You're already over it, and you're thinking about where you're going from here instead of harping on the rejection.
Yeah. That's and we talk about this a lot. And I as I've been listening to our previous episodes, this is something that I realized that we're glossing over. We're saying the same thing over and over. Basically, tough it up. This is what happens. Deal with it. But we have to, maybe not this episode, but we have to come up with a way to really explore how, step by step, we do that.
Okay. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's easier to just say, we're all going to get rejected, deal with it. But when people are going through it and the emotions are real and it's problematic and it's messing with their psyche and they don't want to get up for work the next day, how do we realistically deal with that? Right?
So it's funny you actually said that. Point I have written down here.
Yep.
Look, if you make $50K a year, your average height ages 18 to 80, and you're a man, okay? You exclude married men, you're like in the top 10% of earners in the US. You can use that website we talked about to verify the statistics on it, but I've done it. It's like top 10, 15%. So, which is crazy to think about, right? But I think the average income for US citizens is still like $30,000-$40,000 a year.
I've seen
Um,
mixed stats on that recently, which I don't know which ones I believe because I'm
I look at
more in
.gov.
lines with like 40 to 50 is the average now.
Yeah,
I've
but
I've seen out where we are in Texas, the average is like 60 something.
well, where we are, yes,
Which is
but we
crazy.
also live in a more prominent area, a much more prominent
And,
area.
and I think that the statistics for that are skewed because there's so much oil money and things here that
Well, that's what I'm saying. We live in a
you have
prominent
people
area.
who are such wealthy millionaires that they ruin the stat for other people because the averages are so wild.
Yes, absolutely.
You know?
Especially when you live in an area like we are and you're not in a smaller town.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
so, you have to think about that, right? So if a girl shoots you down, okay, well, that doesn't mean that you're not average or a little bit on the high end for earners according to, US Census data. If you take care of yourself, you go to the gym, whether you think you're good looking or not, you are in like the top 10% of Americans.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So your stats aren't bad. You just
No.
have to understand that you literally weren't that woman's cup of tea, right? And if you can
Right.
if you can understand those things and think about those things before you approach a woman too, it's going to make you more confident when you approach that woman. Because it's like we talked last time. It's kind of clickbaity, but you had the conversation about how, like, what do women bring to the table kind of thing. And if you're looking for a more traditional relationship, which
Yeah.
I would argue that most men would still prefer that, there's not a lot. I say this carefully, respectfully. There's not a whole lot that she's actually going to bring to the table outside of children, right?
Yeah, that's another thing I've been thinking about as I listen to some of the older episodes we did. We talk a lot about, and not just us, but I would say other podcasts in our niche.
Yeah.
They talk about women that seek money and how a man should provide XYZ money and be a top earner and this and that. I don't think that's reality fully. I think that's reality in certain areas and certain cities. I don't think that is reality in the vast majority of America. In your Midwest, in your smaller places, this is what I would say is advice to that. If there is a woman who clearly seeks money, straight up tells you, I'm not dealing with you unless you make this, or I'm not whatever it is, or are you going to buy me this, or are you going to take me shopping, or whatever that is. As soon as you feel that weird pressure where it becomes a money exchange, that is not the girl. You immediately just let her continue to be single, regardless of how she looks. She'll be fine. There'll be another dude, another sucker to buy her a bunch of shit tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell this, and I'm not a millionaire by any means, but I would tell this to the millionaires. You need to get that into your mindset too, is stop entertaining these women.
Yeah, you could be a loser and a simp and be a millionaire.
Of course. It's very strange that they think that, okay, it's fine, let me just pay for it or take the girls on the yacht or do this, that, the other thing, when you're just feeding into their ego. You're making it worse for everybody else. And you may have a comeback saying, oh, well, everybody else just needs to get their money up. But if everybody had their money up, then nobody would be a millionaire.
Yeah,
so we'd
exactly.
be right back at ground zero.
Yeah.
And your apartment would cost $1 million a month because
Yeah.
everybody's got the money for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, a comment you made, I think last episode, could be the episode before that, made recently.
Yeah.
The more they do that, the more the women are just going to expect it. And whenever a woman expects something like that, it's almost like it's removed off the table for what you provide in their eyes, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a terrible way to say it. But essentially, they're starting to look at everything else now instead of, oh, well, he makes a lot of money. He's a good provider. If you're doing it to that extent, at some point, those women are going to look at you and be like, okay, well, I can find somebody else who has money, but you literally have nothing else I'm looking for, right?
Yeah, it's like we talked about in the dating exchange, right? Where we talked about if you're the guy who brings her flowers every day,
Yes.
and then the moment
That's what
you
I was referring
stop
to.
bringing her flowers, now she thinks something's wrong.
Yeah.
It's the same concept where if you're the guy or you're one of these people who are constantly spoiling these women, they're going to run into a guy who's not doing that, and they're going to think he's something wrong with him.
Mhm.
he can't do what the other people can do, so he's off the table. But in reality, we need to change their mindset to what does he bring to the table emotionally as a connection? Is he good with kids? Is he going to be a good father? Is he going to be? It doesn't matter if you're $100,000 or $100 million if you don't check all the other boxes. Yeah, you can throw a bunch of money at problems, but your kids are going to grow fucked up and probably just try to leech off the wealth and not have any good morals and all that kind of stuff. I seen a little ad recently, a little article of it was what's his name, the guy who just played Batman, not the young guy, the older one.
Christian Bale.
No, after him.
Well, that was the
No.
Robert Patterson.
No,
Patterson,
that was
right?
the young guy. There was another one in between. In
I
the
thought it was
Batman vs
Christian.
Superman movies.
Oh, well, I didn't watch those. So,
No.
you sure it wasn't Christian Bale?
No, that was the old 3.
Okay, well, anyway.
That was like 10 years ago.
Oh, was it?
Ben
It wasn't
Affleck.
Ben Affleck,
Ben
was
Affleck.
it? Yeah, Ben
Ben
Affleck.
Affleck.
Yeah, I was like,
Ben
wait a
Affleck.
second, it's Daredevil,
His son,
the first Daredevil.
wanted to buy $6,000 pairs of shoes. Okay,
Jesus.
and he told his son, "I can get them. I have the money for it, but you're broke. I'm rich."
Exactly. Shaq tells
And-
his kids that.
And put them in place to go build your wealth, figure it
Mhm.
out on your own. Eventually, of course, if something major happens, he would support him, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Right. But when it's luxury items, you have to teach that to them. So
I agree wholeheartedly.
there are some people that are doing it that way and the right way. We're getting off topic with dating, but as far as overcoming fears, addressing fears and anxieties, here's one that I came up with. And I want you to break this quote down. Embrace uncertainty and shift your mindset from evaluation to exploration.
So don't think about rejection. Think about the journey, right?
And the
Enjoy.
possibilities.
Yes. Enjoy speaking to women, meeting new people, getting out there, thinking
Bingo.
about, oh, what happens if this one says yes, right?
That's right.
I do that. I definitely will do that and be like, oh, that one's really my type, you know? Like,
Yeah.
what if she
I
says
felt that
yes?
was a good one that I wrote.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's you have to know that it's all uncertain. Every time you're going to go out, you don't know what the results are going to be. You can have the best luck in the world and you can still have a crappy night. But if you do it in a way where you're not going to evaluate yourself on every win or loss and you're just going to enjoy the experience, you'll have a much better time overall. Your outlook is going to be better, and you're going to overcome those fears because now you'll be looking forward to the journey and not the success.
That's kind of like what those motivational coaching people do, like Gary Vayner and Tony, what's his name? Something like those
No.
people. Yeah. They talk about doing that.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to get up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym every day,
Yep.
don't think about, oh, it's so early, I have to get up. Think about, how am I going to look in 3 months because I'm consistently doing this, because I'm eating right, because, you know, I'm putting in the effort.
Right.
Yeah, same concept. So yeah, that's really good. I like that.
Next one, integrate dating into your life. That's a point that I have. You're not going to overcome your fear unless you understand that this whole dating thing is becoming part of your life.
Yeah,
Choosing a day to go out once a week.
Yeah,
Be involved.
I have something to that when we get further down the list that'll compound onto that. But yeah,
onto that. And then the last bullet point that I have for this one is focus on positive experiences and stop listening to inner fears. So
yeah,
eliminating your inner fear. Don't worry about everything that we've talked about, the rejection, the uncertainty, you have to embrace it. Understand that you're going out there, you're going to find new things, you're going to find new people, you're going to get new experiences. I've seen people who thought they had a type, and then because they just broaden their horizons, they have a whole new type now because some girl rocked their world.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, wholeheart. Yeah, I've seen that.
So just embrace it. Did you have anything else on the fears?
I mean, you have to understand that if you at least can't fake confidence, they're gonna sniff that shit out, bro. Like
Yeah.
if you can't get over this, every woman you talk to is going to see it. You're
Right.
best just getting out there, learn how to be your authentic self, but not be fearful of what's coming next, I guess.
It's good. I don't have too much on the next category. Three things, three short things. So persistence, staying motivated and persistent in your dating journey. What do you have first?
So I kind of mentioned it before we started recording. There's a YouTube channel I came across my feed. It's a kid. He's like 19.
Yeah.
He's fairly decent looking. I don't know
Okay.
how tall he is. I would assume he's average or slightly above average height.
Okay.
He did a video where I guess this is the thing now. These kids are filming themselves approaching 100 women, and they make a YouTube video out of it.
Okay.
And they were all at the gym, all at the gym.
Okay.
And this kid was just simply going up and saying, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, I think you're really pretty. You know, would you like to go on a date with me?" He would approach 3 girls at once. I think you girls are very pretty. Would any of you like to go on a date with me? I'm not saying do that, but
That's overconfidence from doing that so much.
actually the kid was riddled with anxiety
Really?
about approaching women and talking. That's why he started doing this. He's like, it doesn't matter what they say.
Yeah.
He's trying to get it in his mind that it doesn't matter what they say. It only matters that I'm getting the experience and I learn from that experience.
The trial and
And
error.
yeah, and he talked about how, he would do it over like 3 or 4 days. And he talked about how he woke up one day and he was like, man, he's like, I really don't want to do this today. I don't want to get out there. He's like, all I can think about is the rejection.
Yeah.
But every time he got back out there and he kept doing it, he talked about how it became more about the next approach, thinking about the next approach. The rejection doesn't hurt any less.
Right.
But I'm getting more comfortable talking to women. And now I'm already thinking about what my next approach is going to look like, or who my next prospect is instead.
Yeah.
So he's focusing on the journey, right?
Right.
The more he does it,
Yep.
which I thought was, I just had to bring that up. I thought that was fantastic.
That's perfect. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it, like you said, he started anxious about the whole situation. And now he has the confidence to go in and not even think about it and talk to 3 girls at once and ask 3 girls at once if they want to go on a date.
Oh, and he had 14 women say they would go on a date with him and he got their phone numbers.
Okay.
7 of them he was having regular casual conversations with.
Okay.
And he went on dates with 3 of them and thought that each one of those 3 he would actually continue to see until he narrowed it down even more. This kid's 19. So, I mean,
He's the anomaly,
he had to approach,
you know.
but he's not he's a very average looking kid.
Okay.
He
He has
ha-
some clout, though. He's on the internet, right? He has a channel.
his channel is bigger than ours, but
Yeah.
it wasn't huge.
For now.
Yeah, for now. For now. It wasn't anything extraordinary or for like a girl to look at it and be like, "Oh, you're YouTube
famous or something,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
It's just an average kid. And I mean, you have to think about that. He spoke to 100 women and he got dates with 3 of them.
Yeah, I was going to say his odds aren't great.
But
that's what it actually happens if you just blindly approach 100 women.
well, it's not just that, but until you work on these skills and you learn to pick and choose who you approach based on chances of success, which comes from experience, like that's going to happen. And hey, he got 3 people to say yes and he was ecstatic.
Right.
He was ecstatic. Like you see the kid's personality, and like people should see that kind of stuff that are tuning into our
He
podcast.
got shot down 97 times, so 3 finally get a win is probably pretty exciting.
Right, but that's
You know?
but that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? And so I think it's good for people who are looking for dating advice, are not out there and looking for a reason to put themselves out there. Like that's a good thing to focus on. Look how happy it made him to
Yeah.
be able to have find success and get over that fear.
Right. Yeah, sharing the information is key. I know a lot of people try to do that in this day and age with different content and different ways, like you're talking about this guy. But just getting in front of people, the people who need to hear it, is probably the key. Persistence. So staying motivated. One of the things that I have, sending texts with purpose. So if you're going to message a girl, it's not, "Hi, how you doing? Good morning. What's going on? What are you eating for lunch?"
That's all boring shit.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, it's all
No,
boring.
You're sending with a purpose. Where are we going? Friday?
Yeah, active
What's happening?
conversation.
Yeah, how are we slowly continuing this relationship to the next stage?
Thought-provoking questions.
Yes, open-ended questions as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with both of those. In person, using a confident tone often. So, making sure that you're confident in what you're saying, it's deliberate, and it's to the point. And then my last one is value your time and space. So, your persistence is going to be based on if you obviously have the time to continue to do what it is you're setting out to do, but you also have to acknowledge that it cannot interfere with everything else in your life. So some men don't find a balance with the dating. They either go all in, and I've been notorious to do this when I was younger, is you get excited, you get a high from the yeses, and you get a high from the dances and the kisses and the loving and the attention and all this other stuff, and then you end up going out 5 nights a week and shirking your other responsibilities, whether it be your job or your friends or your hobbies even, right? I stopped playing games and doing everything that I like to do because I was so consumed with this new thing of going out and getting attention that I never got before.
That's a good way to bore a woman.
Yeah.
And what if she liked you because of your hobbies in the beginning, right? And now you're not doing those hobbies to spend more time with her. She wins.
So saying no is not always the wrong answer, I guess is what I'm getting at. So sometimes if you tell her, hey, listen, I got a big meeting, or I've got work, or I've got something already previously planned, let's do the next day, let's do Saturday, or let's do next week. It's not a bad thing. It shows you that you're busy. Just don't make it seem like you're blowing her off. Make sure you keep the conversation alive throughout the week.
Yeah.
Following with that.
My mother likes to say, distance makes the heart grow fond. So
that is a saying.
Distance
makes the heart grow fond.
So, you know, be intentional, see her, make time for her, make sure she understands that you're making time for her. But at the same time, you don't drop everything you're doing to hang out with her. You don't sacrifice your hobbies. You don't sacrifice anything you have to do. You could have to clean your house and do laundry. Hey, it's just not going to work today.
Right. Anything else on persistence?
Yes. So, persistence and motivation can also look differently than kind of how we've talked about it.
Okay.
I tend to use rejection as motivation. A few years ago, I had just started trying to get back in shape again. And I liked a girl that I worked with, we worked at the same company, and long story short, I ended up at her house to hang TVs because they were trying to pay someone $300, and it just it made me twitch. I'm like, why would you pay someone to do that? Like, get a man to do it. Oh, we don't have a man. Okay, I'll be your man. That kind of thing. I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking.
Rent the man.
Yeah. I'll be that man. I'll do it for you.
Gotcha.
And while I was hanging those damn TVs, she made a comment. I don't even know how we got on this topic. She made a comment, something to the extent of, she was describing a guy when they would gone out to this bar, and she was like, yeah, his hair was done, and he had on a nice shirt, and he had big muscles and tattoos and stuff. And she literally said, if you look like that, you'd be attractive. And I was like, bitch.
Yeah, she had a type and she was expressing it to you.
Yeah, so I went home. I wrote that shit on my bathroom mirror. I was up at 5 a.m. 6 days a week to go to the gym. I didn't skip a meal. I didn't cheat for 3 whole months.
Yeah, but you focused on the one thing.
Right, but that was but it was motivation, though, right?
His tattoos, you know.
Right,
but it was go out and get a whole sleeve done.
No, absolutely not. No. But you can use that as motivation.
You can,
right?
You can, to better yourself, right?
Yeah,
and they're telling you a lot of times explicitly what they like.
Yeah.
There are people that we all see, whether it's on the internet or wherever, and it's like, okay, this guy's got perfect long hair, and he's got all the perfect body and the muscles and lean and the perfect tattoos that don't make it look terrible. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be that guy, but let's get as close as I can get in my realm of possibility. And I'm not a 22-year-old kid anymore. I'm not gonna be in my prime, so let's figure out what I can still maintain and do and make it work. Make it work for
Yeah.
us. So, and that's the other side of this podcast is for everybody. I don't care if you're 19 and you're going into the dating world for the first time, or you're 65 and you're looking to find your new wife, you know, because the other one left and took all the money or passed away or whatever the case may be. There's something to learn about today's dating market from this. And that's the key. I wanted to tell you, I guess we can talk about it on here, on air, but changing the approach for the coaching. Rather than click links and do all these things, I just want people to message me. Email me, speakliketheboss@gmail.com, or just DM us on Instagram or any of the pages that you follow us on, whatever you're watching this on.
Yeah, YouTube, drop comments.
Reach out with questions, all that kind of stuff, because I'm open to whatever you have to say, even if it's something that you think is unaffordable or you're not convinced that the service is right for you. Let's talk first, because realistically, what I want to do is I want to make sure I can help you first. So let me hear your situation and feel confident in saying, yes, if we do this, I can help you. Because I don't want to take on somebody who's got the craziest situation of all time and is missing 5 legs and, you know what I mean, and is rolling into the bar like a, I don't know.
Or you're like 300 pounds and you refuse to go to the gym.
This while you bring that up, somebody had just told me yesterday or today or 2 days ago, every person, male and female, on My 600-Pound Life is in a relationship.
I don't know what to say about that. That's mind-blowing.
Every person, males and female, on the My 600-Pound Life show is in a relationship.
Well, I mean,
my first comment was, are they also 600 pounds?
yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't verify. I didn't do my due diligence
I'm not
to
looking
find
that
out.
shit up.
I'll be like turned off from it. But it was interesting that if they can do it, anybody can find something. You may not be your ideal type, but you can find something. Anything else on persistence before we move on?
No, not really.
All right, jumping into our last category, then flirting. I figured this will probably take the longest, this part here. So, flirting, developing effective flirting techniques to show interest and attraction. What do you got? I got 4 bullet points for this.
Yeah, so broad strokes, and
Go
then
ahead.
of course, we'll get into what you talk about probably more.
Yeah.
Start harmlessly flirting with all women. Don't make it a sexual in nature.
Interesting.
But you can be, you can talk to them a certain way just to kind of, play with them. Don't get HR called on you, walk a very fine line. But you can mess with people and be playful with them and just get used to talking to women that way if you have to. I have used things on like how I would approach women. Again, not sexual, not toting that line. It's completely platonic conversation or comment, with no intention behind it. Not going to get me. Do not get yourself sent to HR and then say you saw it on a podcast. But yeah, just people you see in your everyday life, make a comment, give them a compliment. Doesn't have to be sexual, it could be completely platonic and just have a good time with them. It's like I was telling you earlier today, I made a joke for somebody or to somebody in the company who I like potentially could get a promotion from. It's like, and that was our first interaction, so like
playful humor.
Yeah.
I like it. I definitely think there's a place for it. And I was thinking about it while you're talking about it, what I do. Even with people that I'm not attracted to.
Yes, absolutely. Right? That's the easiest.
And I think it's easy with them because you don't care what the result's going to be.
Right.
And I do think that figuring out what your playful flirtiness is, like mine could be like looking at them a certain type of way or a smile or something along those lines, just to see the reaction that I can get, because there is something there as far as a confidence boost of knowing, oh, I got her if I wanted her, even though I don't want to, or she's taken, or she's this, or she's ugly, or she's older, or whatever the case may be of why you're not trying to pursue the relationship. There's definitely something there when you can tell that a woman is interested in you, even though you're not back. It gives you the place of power that men usually aren't in.
Yeah.
Right.
Another way to think about it is they may have good looking friends that you're attracted to,
That's true.
and they can introduce you
That's
to them.
very true. Yeah, definitely befriend as many as you can. That's for sure.
And then you already know what works,
Yeah,
and it's more natural.
that's right. You're trying it out without the cost of bad results, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, if the fear is getting rejected, right, and that's where most of the fear and anxiety comes from, take that part out of the equation.
Yeah.
You're not talking to this woman to hit on them. You're talking to them so that you can work on your game in the most harmless way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you could not be attracted to them. You can be attracted to them, raise the stakes a little bit, but like,
I would say you don't even have to think of it as working on your game. Think of it as building your charisma.
yes, absolutely. I
'Cause
agree.
you can
1000%,
realistically
yeah.
do that same kind of charismatic joking in a non-flirty way with men. If you're speaking like the boss, like we talk about,
Yeah.
right? It's going to work in all facets of life. It's not just going to be with women, but it'll work for your job. It'll work for whatever you're trying to get yourself into. So build your charisma through conversation. That's important.
And to build off that a little bit, you kind of want men to look at you the same way. It's just not a sexual nature.
Right.
You want people to look at you and be like, oh, he's a good dude. He's fun to be around. That dude's the life of the party.
Exactly.
Or like that dude's
Exactly
got it
right.
figured out. Or like, you know.
Yeah, that could lead to job opportunities.
Yes.
That can lead to a ton of different things.
Yes. Men, this may sound heartless, but most men are friends because of what they can provide each other, at least initially, right? So if you can make, if you can put that seed in a dude's mind that you just met or whatever,
Yep.
then that's
You're going to get invited out, especially. I'll give you a very fast story. I was out with two friends probably during COVID. This was years ago.
we went out during COVID.
A lot. And we were in a bar club situation, and it was like 15 minutes to closing. And one of my buddies was giving up. He was ready to go home. The other one was currently preoccupied with the girl that he met. And I was there with nothing. And the new guy that I had just met tonight, that was an associate of people around us, we're sitting there like, man, that sucks. You know, we lost the night or whatever. I said, nope, I'm not giving up. We did a lap. We walked around. I said, I'm going to find us something. And me and this guy had never talked before. But I seen the disappointment and the look in his eyes, and he was not a bad looking guy. He was taller, Hispanic maybe guy, right? We found these two girls that were dancing by themselves last minute, pulled them over, started talking to them. It worked out better for him, which in this case was good. He ended up making out with the chick within the last 10 minutes of the bar being closed. Like, that's all it took. And then, you know, got a number, went their separate ways or whatever. And he was like, I am never doubting you again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was incredible what you just did. Like, let me get your number because we're going to go out again.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you build a friendship like that.
yeah. I mean, I know we're doing a podcast together, but I mean, I can speak volumes. I have seen you move. Like, there are things you do and think about. I'm like, I will never be able to do that, you know, or like, I would have never thought about that. It's
just women in general.
Yeah. Women in general. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's so like we can kind of talk about how we got to know each other if you want to build on that.
Sure. I mean, if it's interesting, if it's not interesting to them, then.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if we started working at GameStop together, and that's how I don't even know how we became friends through that. Honestly, I don't remember that part. It was like 10 years ago or more.
It was more.
Yeah. At this point, a little more. But I remember he's just kicking everybody's ass in sales goals. And I was like, I need to watch this guy. I need to see what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then I saw you like the way you talk to women and stuff too. And I was like, this guy's got it. Yeah. I'm like, this guy's got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's something to this. And it's very similar. So if you're already in sales as a man, it's not going to be a very difficult transition.
No, not at all.
I'm sure you've already figured that out in your own personal life. But if you haven't, it's not a hard transition to being able to talk to women. And if you're somebody who does neither, then I would encourage you, if the dating marketplace is intimidating, to start with sales of some kind. Put yourself in a place of just trying to sell something, even if it's something like a yard sale outside of your home, something small, something simple, something that you already know. If you have a little collection of something and you're willing to sell or get rid of something, post an ad online. Start small and really try to figure out the art of the sale. Convincing somebody to want something that they didn't know they wanted. And that's the same thing with dating. You're convincing the girl to want you, even though she came out tonight not knowing that she would ever meet you.
Mm-hmm.
If you can manage that, that is the key to it all. That is the key to success. So I'll jump into my quick flirting things, and then we'll see if you've got anything else to add on to them. Teasing in a positive way.
Yes, that goes back to what I said about, learning how to playfully flirt with everybody.
Playfully flirt. So teasing could be, you don't want to tell her, God, girl, your teeth are just fucked up. That's not teasing in a positive way. God, did you ever see a dentist? Like you fell off the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. Like, you don't want to tease a little bit too insulting, but you want to be a little more like, I don't know. It's very contextual. I will say that.
Yeah, it's very hard to.
It's hard to come up with an exact example. Let's say she's already talking about maybe part of her outfit. Let's go there. Oh, I didn't know if I should wear these pants or I should, these shoes or whatever the hell it is. Now that there's an insecurity there for the night. She's brought it up to you. So now it's not you just picking on her. Now it's you bringing up what she's already talked about and teasing her a little bit about it. So as she's going through the night or whatever, and, she's sitting down or uncomfortable or whatever the case would be, like, hey, maybe you should have just wore those other pants. It could have been something simple like that. Or if you guys are dancing or getting closer to each other and she's just not tall enough, you can be like, maybe those platforms would have done the trick.
Yeah.
Something silly like that. It's a tease, but it's in a playful gesture, right?
I think you can even go like a self-deprecating route as well, as long as you don't go too bad.
I've got that as one of my points.
So let's get into it. Yeah.
So we'll jump ahead here. I'll skip one, but use self-deprecating humor.
Yeah,
is one of my
I do it all the time.
Flirting points.
Yeah.
So you don't want to down yourself to the point where you look like you're a loser, but you definitely want to emphasize that you're not invincible.
Yeah, you seem more normal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you made a comment earlier about dudes being
too perfect.
If like, for example, my situation, if that girl is trying to act, which again could be reading into it too much, probably am. It's whatever. I don't care that much, but I thought it would be good to bring up for the podcast. But anyway, if she is trying to get closer to me, I mean, it's like you said, I'm not the best looking guy there. I'm not the tallest guy there. It may be less intimidating. And I think that goes with, so the self-deprecation part, you acknowledge that you're not perfect. You're not trying to be perfect. And
correct.
That's attractive.
Yeah, absolutely. It humbles you to the point of getting on their level because, example, I've seen women that are very, very gorgeous, like to the point where they're had sexual jobs in the past, whether they're a stripper or something of that nature. They have very good bodies and they're very pretty ladies, and they're still worried about their weight. They're trying to get surgeries done, whether it's to fix their face or fix their bodies or fix their this and that and get a BBL and et cetera, et cetera. They're all insecure. It's the thing that we overlook a lot because we see their overall beauty, especially the natural beauty in a lot of these women, and they go and get things done that destroys that, and they think they look better, they feel more confident. And at the end of the day, sometimes it's not about how you feel. It's about how everybody else sees you.
Absolutely.
When sometimes I think the ladies, if there are any ladies that ever listen to this, do need to take a step back and really assess that knowledge of, it doesn't matter what the other women around you think. It matters what you look like to a man.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa, same for men. If it doesn't matter what the other guys think of you, if every guy told me, oh, I hate the way you do your hair, it looks gay or this or that, or just tries to throw insults at me, right?
But if you're pulling like hella bitches,
then what are they going to say?
Yeah.
Who does it care? I'm not trying to impress you, stupid.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the girls, and if it's working for them, like, You know, like we had a conversation about cologne. You didn't believe in cologne so much,
Well,
right?
it's not that. It's just for me, like I didn't like messing with it. Yeah.
That's fine, right? But we have a difference of opinion there.
Mhm.
But there are people that I even reached out and said, you know, they like cologne, and
Mhm.
you know,
Which is fine. I'm not saying don't wear it.
sure. But I'm just saying, like, again, at the end of the day, I'm not here to impress Chase. I'm here
Yeah,
to
you're here to
impress the
impress
girl,
women.
right?
Yeah.
So if it's working, we stick with it. So,
Real quick to
Yep.
the I thought of like a good kind of way that I use self-deprecating humor.
Yep.
I do this a lot at work too. Take something that's like a stereotype, right, of
Okay.
men or something. Someone will be like, "Hey, did you find this?" or "Hey, did you do this?" or whatever, and I'll be like, "Well, I looked for it, but you know, I'm a man, so I probably didn't see it." You know, stuff like that.
Man deprecating.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Something simple like that. Everyone will get it. Everyone will understand it. They'll know that you're being sarcastic and playing into stereotypes.
Right. And anything that just brings you down to their level. I think that let's backtrack, because I think this is a mixed message. Thinking about what we've talked about previously, and I want to make sure that people understand this the right way. We have talked about the name of the show,
Yeah.
Speak Like the Boss. If you are a guy like one of the Tates, or somebody who comes in and protrudes the boss aura at all times, the self-deprecating humor may not work for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay? So understand what your presence is and how you come off first. If I'm dressed in a tux, in a suit, and I'm looking my best, I'm not going to focus as much on the self-deprecating humor
Yeah, of course.
as I am the confidence that we
Mhm.
talked about earlier, and the flirtiness and things of that nature. If I'm dressed casually and I'm trying to pick up a casual girl and we're not trying to flex to the room, then yes. So I want to make sure that that's clear, that different situations call for different flirting techniques.
Yeah, nothing we're saying is a one size fits all.
That's
And
right.
you're going to find out very
That's
quickly if you try to apply it that way.
Yeah, and that's part of why the coaching is important, right? Because every situation is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
My next one that I skipped over earlier kind of ties into this: be confident but not cocky.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's a hard line to figure out. That takes a lot of work.
Yeah. You always want to look like you've got your stuff together without coming across like you're better than the girl. And that kind of ties into what we were saying about the self-deprecating humor, because we don't want to put ourselves so far on a pedestal that she doesn't think that she can even fit in that piece into the puzzle. You know, she needs to be able to feel like she's fitting in, especially if you're talking to a girl that's probably actually worth your time.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are not worth your time, the ones that are the gold diggers, the ones that are their shit don't stink,
Put them in their place.
those girls, you don't have to bring yourself down to them. You don't
Yeah.
have to use a self-deprecating humor. They already think they're better than you. You know, I would ignore them. They're great if they're super attracted to you and they're looking for a good time. They're in the fun category, and that's where they will stay.
Mhm.
If they are not, and they're an actual normal girl with ethics and morals and things of that nature, then yes, then all of these things that we're talking about apply. Now you want to bring yourself to her level, be on equal playing field, and understand that if you do these things the right way, you have to get the mindset of what some of these other shows say, of that you're better than every woman, out of your mind a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Because when you find the right ones, they will do a lot for you.
Yes.
They will treat you right, and you will get the old school, whatever it is, marriage vibe out of the relationship. They're going to cook, they're going to clean, they're going to be happy about it, they're going to be loving, they're going to take care of you when you're sick.
You're going to feel like you can't live without them.
That's right. That's right. When you find the right one, that the money and all of that other nonsense goes out the window.
Mhm.
So I know we talk about a lot of craziness on the show, and we have a lot of spicy clips and things of that nature. And there's a reasons for that, because we're out there trying to talk about things and get views. And a lot of it is true. I'm not going to ever say anything that I don't believe, but a lot of it does get taken out of context when it's a 15-second clip.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little side note, but
So to go back to the self-deprecating humor thing and how you mentioned there's a time and a place for it. You may not have to go that route. Instead, maybe try to build her up. If you think she's fairly humble and that's kind of the dynamic that you're approaching, and instead of knocking yourself down, if you don't think that'll work or that is kind of a turnoff for her, say something nice about her. Notice something that you are looking for that's attractive that can help her feel more like she's worth your time, or the effort is intentional and it's noticed, right? And I mean, this is beyond the approach or like first dating stage, but if she does something nice for you, wow, no one has done that for me before. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Like, you have no idea what this means to me, kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or like, you guys are on a date and she talks about a hobby. You're like, wow, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty incredible. Like, how many people in the world actually do that kind of thing?
If she's talking about a skill set or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Those are all good. I like those. I'm trying to think of where you could take that, but
I mean, without getting into like specific examples, it would be hard to.
Yeah. Specific. Yeah.
Well, it might come up in the
the last thing that I have. Yeah, that's true. The last thing that I have here is to use body language. So smile, touch, and physical gestures for flirting.
Specifically on the physical gestures.
Yep.
I guess this goes into posture as well.
Yes.
I truly believe if I'm approaching a woman, I'm going to be totally engaged, totally facing her. This actually works.
Okay.
This is like the one good thing I learned from those dating guru things. If you're facing a woman, it shows you're totally engaged, and they will most likely will pick up on that body language.
Right.
If they are talking to you or approaching you, don't give them the full, don't turn and look at them exactly like we're facing each other now. It's more like, oh, hi, how are you? Whatever. You can shake their hand, do whatever.
Right.
But like, we're just here. If she says something that catches your attention,
engage.
Now we engage. Oh, and she's going to pick up on that.
Right.
And very well. Also be able to understand if they say something that you don't like, or they, it kind of starts fading, you can turn back.
That's actually really good. And that's also good to pay attention to in her body language, because people will do that without knowing it.
Yes.
So,
but it speaks volumes.
Yeah. Yeah. The body language is definitely big. Smile should be an obvious one.
Yes.
Right. Smile shows interest, shows all those kind of things. It's like almost like winking without being too obnoxious about it.
Yeah, don't wink if you can't do it.
No,
I typically get pretty good responses.
It's not a good idea.
I typically get pretty good responses from winks.
Yeah. Touch, obviously, the simple touch. I say obviously, but we should talk about it. So, touch for a woman. If she's touching you, casually laughing at your jokes, and then touching your arm,
or like your chest,
shoulder, whatever it may be, all good
she's
signs.
into you.
She's into you. She's trying to get closer to you. She's trying. If she was not interested and you're boring or unattractive to her, she wouldn't be trying to get closer to you.
I agree.
So that's a big one to definitely pay attention to. For men, do the same thing. If you think that she doesn't know you're flirting with her yet, then try to reach out and touch.
Yes.
Make a joke. Make sure she's laughing.
Yes.
Pat her down on the knee or the arm or the hand.
I actually
something not inappropriate.
I actually don't like touching like the knee or something like that. I like going for like the hand or the forearm or like the elbow. If I'm going to touch her shoulder or something and I'm not trying to get her attention, I might go like with the back of my hand, go like this. And then if she receives that well, it's almost like a reaction. Like you're just like, boom. And then the hand goes like this and you pull it back immediately kind of thing. Like
the knee is like if we're sitting here at a table together and we're talking and she's here at the other side of the table and like our knees are right here, I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
Only if it's clearly within my length without having to duck down and grab a leg. Yeah, that'd be inappropriate.
For me, I'm not saying you're wrong by any means, so I don't need people coming at me in the comments again.
Okay.
But for me, and probably for a lot of guys out there who may be awkward or don't have experience, I'm not saying that's me, but that might be a little much if they're not expressing interest back in you, and you guys have been
Yes.
sitting there having
Yes.
a conversation. Stick with the arm, stick with the hand. I like touching the hands.
I agree. If you're unsure of what the vibe is, stick with the hands and the arms and all
Or
that
like
stuff.
if you're gonna come up behind her, don't touch her in the middle of her waist. Touch like in the spot of her back, just a little above. Like, you know, it's still
I
respectful
usually give her the back
without
of the hand
being.
too. If they don't know that I'm coming,
Yes.
like I'm
Yeah.
on the side or something, and they're too busy in the conversation
Yeah.
that they're in,
Yeah,
I'll give them one of these on the side of the arm. You know,
yeah, I've done that too.
like, hey, yo, stupid, I'm over here.
Yeah. But like, believe it or not, I think the hand placement, women will read into that. If you like touch their back, if you know them, or
Yeah.
like you're on a date or something,
Yeah.
like the spot of their back is perfect. You know, it's respectful. It's not too low. It's not too high. It's not, hey, we're just friends, but it's showing intention. I've had someone tells me like it feels like you're guiding them, like you're protecting them almost. If you touch too low, they're gonna think you just want a piece of ass.
Yep.
And if you touch too high, they might think that you're not interested.
Yep, I agree with all those things. Talking about physical gestures, what comes to mind?
Other than like touching and stuff.
Yeah, than normal touching, like physical gestures where you're not actually physically touching them. Difficult one.
Outside of what we've already talked about.
Yeah, so I got a couple that come to mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
Things like, let's say you're across the room from each other, you can wave them over. Okay.
Oh,
come here, like
yeah.
kind of thing, like a head nod, like
give
hey,
them a wink.
yeah. You can stick a hand out
I was actually going to
Right.
bring that up. Make
to
sure
bring
you,
them in,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and always go like this. Like
Mhm.
we talked about that before.
Mhm.
Your hand is always open because you want them to place it on top.
And I always go sideways too. Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I
that
just go straight like
it
this.
matches like this.
Yeah, I see why you do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it with this
Because
is gonna
realistically, from there, I can't do it from where I'm at.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it turns right into a handhold.
yeah, yeah. For anyone listening out there, that for lack of a better way to put it, it kind of creates like that. I don't want to say damsel
Like an
situation,
elegant
but
princess
yeah, that's what
feel
I was
to
thinking.
it, right?
Yeah, like you're gonna court them.
Like think of like Beauty and the Beast and
Yes.
like going to a fancy ball and like the gentleman comes up, who would you like to dance, my lady?
Yes, exactly.
Right? Like
yeah.
that kind of a handhold.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they'll pick up on that too. Yeah. Without
Yeah.
ever
Dudes,
realizing it.
if you decide you like to dance and you're out dancing, don't be like, hey, do you want to dance, and just have your arms sitting there with your shoulders shrugged. Lean in, open
Mhm.
hand. Hey, would you like to dance? Let her place her hand in your hand. I
Yeah.
promise you will get more yeses out of that.
There you
Anything else?
go. No, that's about it for the flirting, unless you want to go over and make specific examples. Do you have anything else, or should I just jump into like a random scenario with you?
Yeah, we can do the scenario.
Okay, we're gonna let you go first this time.
Okay.
So
God.
let's create a scenario for you, and you're going to talk about how would you flirt in the environment, just to keep it on today's topic, right? So let's do something we haven't talked about yet. How about shopping in a clothing store? Haven't talked about that. This could be the grocery store too, kind of the same way. Okay, so out in a market, some kind. The young lady that you see today is going to be a little bit on the taller side. We'll say she's about an inch taller than you.
Oh, you're making this shit hard on me now.
Well, we're going to give different perspectives of how you would flirt differently for different things, right? Let's say she's blonde. We will say that she has a tennis skirt on, white. We will say that she is in a spandexy type tank top. Maybe she was
like
out
a midriff, or
no, goes all the way down to the
okay.
skirt, but
so fairly modest.
fairly modest still, but definitely looks like an active wear,
Right.
right? Maybe it's summertime, so let's say it's 80 to 90 degrees outside. It's warm. Her hair is up in a small little ponytail of some kind, and athletic sneakers on. She is filling her cart currently. Let's go back to the produce. Let's say she's getting fruits and veggies in that section of the store. You notice her and you're like, damn, very pretty girl. She has normal brown eyes, no special colors. And I don't know. I'll give you more details if you need anything else, but let's start with that.
Is she wearing a full face of makeup?
No. I would say she probably has just eyeliner on.
Okay. Where am I running into her specifically?
So you just happen to be pushing your cart through the produce aisle. She's picking out tomatoes right now.
She's picking out tomatoes.
You know, so you're just, you didn't even really need fruits and vegetables, but you've seen her and you're like, let me linger here just a little bit and figure this out.
This is really hard for me.
Yeah.
Because it's not really a situation where
you would normally approach.
Not without a reason. Something's got to, not necessarily a reason, but like something has to happen that makes it natural, right?
Let's just say you were like, this is my freaking wife. This is her. She looks like that. I need her in my life. I gotta shoot this shot. I'm never gonna see her again.
I'm gonna say something foolish. Like it's just gonna be like, honestly, it's just gonna be something. I can't lie.
Okay.
It would be something foolish. On it, oh God, off the rip without having time to think about it.
Yep.
Have we made eye contact?
Not yet, because she was still picking the tomatoes. Make it hard. I'm gonna make this one a little more challenging.
Okay, so I would probably act like I'm also about to go pick tomatoes or something.
Okay.
I would set the cart up so that like our carts aren't together, but I would like be in front of my cart pulling it in.
Yep.
And then I might grab a tomato or something and put it in a bag. And then if I can look up at her and she either makes eye contact or does something that lets me notice she's there, I might say something stupid like, this is so corny.
Come on.
It would probably be something to the extent of like, if you look at, so it'd be something like, I know, I don't do this, okay? This isn't how I approach women, okay? It's completely out of my comfort zone.
Got it.
Probably something like, hey, do you look at men the way you look at those tomatoes? I know it's terrible. This is what I freaking do, okay? I don't do that.
I thought you were going to go, hey.
No.
Okay. Well, okay. So it's difficult situation.
I would not approach in this situation.
Yeah.
You know that.
And
you did this specifically because I don't approach in these situations.
That's a valid reason, because I don't think most people would approach in that situation.
Yes, but like you're not giving me a choice, so
no,
like
I'm not. Then that's why it's very difficult.
Or it would, if she's a little bit taller than me, it'd be something like, "Hey, you think you could reach that for me?"
That's better. That's better.
Hey, can you? That was what popped into my head initially
funny.
when you're like, she's taller than me. I'm like, okay, can you reach that for me?
That's funny because it checks the boxes of like the self-deprecation, right?
Yeah,
It hits a couple of the things, starts the conversation.
But then you mentioned produce, so I'm like, well, I don't need her to get any freaking tomatoes or onions for me.
Throw it out in the cereal aisle.
if we're like, if I see her in the aisle, like I'm picking up honey or like the store I go to, I pick up like a can of like Thai spices or whatever. And it's always on the top shelf. And I have to get on my tiptoes to grab it. And, and I can be like, hey, you mind getting that for me?
I will give you my go-to for every awkward situation. Whether it's a produce, it's somewhere you don't normally pick up women or wouldn't normally approach, but you feel inclined to.
I wouldn't in this case, no.
Okay. My go-to in any of those real tough situations is to just compliment her, because it starts the conversation. Okay. Something simple. You can pick out something on her, something in her outfit, just overall beauty, whatever. Hey, I was just walking by and thought you were gorgeous. I just needed to say something, and I hope you have an amazing day. That will at least start the conversation, but you have to gauge at that point in an instant, how receptive is she to this comment? If she's very receptive and begins to talk back, then continue the conversation while there's a conversation to be had. If she's just, oh, thank you, and moves on with her business, then you move on with yours, and that was the end of it. So it's a very small, it's a very difficult situation that I put you in. Normally, most people wouldn't approach either. I'm just saying, if you absolutely had to, and you were like, that's wifey.
There is no situation
figure
where
it
I would
out.
do that unless you're like, hey, I'm going to give you $100 if you go up to that
Go
chick.
up to the chick, yeah.
And then I'm going to walk around for 20 minutes thinking about my approach and not like, hey, you have 30 seconds.
She's going to be at the register picking out gum, and you're like, hey,
No,
what about that tomato?
No. No. I was really like, it really got bad when you're like produce. Cause I'm like, well, the one thing I thought of was like, hey, can you get that on the top shelf for me kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, how about, hey, I'm terrible at this and I really don't usually do this. And my ex used to pick out this stuff for me. Do you think you can show me how to pick out like a good ripe fruit or vegetable?
Okay. I mean, sure.
Better,
but like,
right?
I don't approach in those situations. It's
There you
hard
go.
for me to think about something like that.
It's just, yeah, but it goes back to what I said in maybe even a previous episode of find something in the environment to begin the conversation. Because now it's an innocent conversation on which tomato do I pick, right? That will open up everything else. Because then you can talk about tomatoes for 30 seconds. And then after that's done and she helps you pick one or two, you can even talk about why you're getting tomatoes. Oh, I'm throwing a little party. I got to get some salads together or something like that. Da, 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 da. Hey, you're really pretty. What are you doing later tonight? Would you like to come?
Then I have to throw a fucking party.
Then you have to throw a fucking party. Call everybody last minute. I got a 9 coming to the party. You got to show up.
Make sure you hype me up.
Yeah, hype me up. And bring them platform shoes. Yeah. Okay, give me one. We'll end the show on mine.
I'm really going to try to make you suffer here.
Okay. Suffer away. Let's go. Let's see what we got.
You're getting your car work done.
Okay, interesting.
You've never seen a chick that looks like this working on cars.
Got it.
She's not working on your car.
Okay.
You're talking to a dude who you just sat in the dealership or the mechanic for 30 minutes waiting for them to finish, or for like, let's say like an hour plus, waiting on them to finish whatever. And you've seen this girl. She hasn't made eye contact with you while you are talking to the guest service guy.
Yep.
Who is, well, I guess I'll back up. You're a head taller than her.
Okay.
Let's say brunette hair. Obviously, it's up in a bun. Or just put up some way where it's not going to get in the way.
Sure.
She's got like one of those jumpsuits on.
Okay. I was going to ask you.
Super dirty, but you're like, damn.
You can tell she's got a body under the jumpsuit.
Yes.
Okay. Is the suit tight or loose?
A little loose.
A little loose fitting.
Okay. I mean, she's got to be able to move around and work in it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She has incredible natural beauty. Like no makeup, nothing, because she's a mechanic. She's a dirty mechanic, right?
Yep.
Very natural beauty. You are talking to the service manager because he's explaining what all they did, whatever, and to collect your payment. And while you are talking to him, she walks in to grab something and is going to like turn and go right back out.
Gotcha. That's hard because you're already in the conversation with somebody else.
Eat it.
That is a tricky one. That is a tricky one. I definitely, obviously not an ideal situation, but let me see. So let me make sure I have all my...
I actually know exactly what I would say in this situation.
All my variables here. So this would be my initial starter. I would talk to the service manager still and say something silly to the point where she hears it as she's walking by. Like, is it a pre-requirement to hire such pretty girls or something along those lines to work here? You know what I mean? I was going to ask for an application, but I don't look like that. You know, something comical, flirty to the point where she'll at least know that I acknowledged her presence. And then once I do, see what reaction I get, because she's obviously going to look up and look at me if she hears me. That's when I would try to make eye contact and gauge it from there. Does she smile? Does she laugh? Is she pissed off that I said anything? Right? Go from there with that. If it's positive and I feel like there was something there and she looked and she was like not disgusted by me, then I would follow it with when I get my car trying to make sure I'm somewhere in her vicinity working on that other car, just at least within earshot, so that I'm not maybe right up on her, but close enough that, okay, I got my keys from the guy. He's handed me my car. They both just pulled it out of the garage like they normally do, right? It's near the parking lot. And she's like in the next bay over, let's say, working on the car. I would get my keys. Two options. I would say one would be if I have anything in my car, aka like, let's say, a business card. If I do something for work, something that I have with my information on it already. Simple. I would grab it from the car, run it over to her, introduce myself, and hand it to her. If I don't have something like that and I have to do this blind, I would run in and try to make it super quick. Probably with, again, even if I had a piece of paper in my car that I can just tear off and write my number on real quick. The faster this interaction, the better, because she is at work. That's really what the key is. So we want to get it in and out and put the ball in her court so that we can walk away and leave the decision up to her. Because there's no time to have an actual conversation and show your charm and all these other things. So she has to have, one, an initial physical connection to you because she's seen you while she was just crossing paths in the office. And then two, you have to have the confidence to offer. That's what you're making an offer. You're making a salesperson offer without actually doing the sales pitch. So you're going in with either the number, the business card, or at least a, hey, I'm about to get out of here, but real quick, do you mind if I get your number? I thought you're beautiful. I'd like to at least talk to you some more and see if we match. Simple, polite, respectful. I know you're at work. You can't talk right now, but real quick, let me get your number. Here's my phone. Have it ready.
She says no.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah. Hey, sorry to bother you. I know you probably get this a lot around here because you have all these coworkers and other guys that come in here all day long. Try to extend the conversation slightly if you're still trying to pursue past that point. But if she doesn't seem to be entertaining and she's just sliding back under somebody's hood, then USOL, brother. But that's the only way to try and make that work, I would think. That's a very tough situation. If it doesn't work with the number the first time, I will add this, is if you can make that initial comment that you make in the office, and let's say you just don't have the balls to reapproach again that second time and give her the number or the business card or anything, you know that she works there. You best be getting your ass back in there next month to get an oil change or something and try again and look for a new opportunity. You're laying groundwork at that time. That's the only other option. If you're not ballsy enough to make the approach on the first run, then know that now she at least looked at you. She knows who you are. And then I would never bring that conversation back up. I wouldn't be like, hey, remember 2 months ago I was that guy in the office that said they hire pretty employees in here? No, she'll forget. Don't ever bring that up. You'll just look cheesy and stupid. But she may remember your face. There's always that moment where I'll go somewhere out and I'll be like, that girl looks really familiar. And I have no idea why or how, but I probably talked to them at some point. It's just going to be one of those. Once you have the familiar face, the guard is going to drop. She's going to be curious because remember, we always talked about that air of mystery. Why do they have that air of mystery? Why are they trying to uncover our secrets? Well, now she knows your face, but she doesn't know why or when. Now there's a reason to talk to you, even if it's not on a sexual level. There wasn't a lot of body language stuff to decipher on this one because we knew what she was wearing for work. Her hair is up because of work. It wasn't she chose her outfit today. So I can't delve into, well, she's wearing this color for this, or she's got this outfit on for that. You know what I mean? Since it's work attire, she's probably forced to wear that, and there's really no telling, what her body language would have been that day, other than what she gives me at the present moment. So tough situation for sure. Work uniforms kind of kill the whole reading people thing. But I guess we can end it there.
I hate you.
Why? It was okay?
No, because you keep putting me in these freaking situations that I would never approach in anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're not ideal, but they're good to hear. And, if anybody out there has one or watches this episode and is like, oh, I got one for them, write us the message. Send us an email. Tell us what your ideal situation is, and we'll try to go over it together next time. We'll both do it if we get one from a listener.
Yeah,
we can
totally.
make it a segment. So we can, I don't know. All right. Well, we'll end it there.
All
Anything
right.
else?
No, that's it.
Cool.
Like,
Alrighty.
comment, subscribe.
Yes, that stuff.
Hit us up in the comments. DM us on Instagram. Anything you guys want to ask a question about, or if you're just looking for practical advice for yourself to see if maybe this dating coach thing will work out, hit us up.
Yep. Liking and commenting is big. Sharing, if you want to share it with people, all that stuff helps our algorithm to kind of get more in front of other people. So that's what we need. Appreciate it, everybody.
Gotta walk the talk and sing the rhyme. Confidence so heavy it stops time. Eyes on the prize, yeah, that's the line. Step in the room, it's my paradigm. Swipe right once, I've got the charm. Heart beats fast, creates alarm. In my zone, my calm disarms. Hand in hand, we light the stars. Speak like a boss, talk like a king. Words cut through like it's nothing. Swagger in every single thing. Crowd cheers loud, it's a winning ring. Date nights lit like city lights. VIP, we own the nights. Success in love, reach new heights. Whisper sweet and hold her tight. Confidence flows like a river wide. No need to hide, just glide and ride. Challenge me though, I've got the pride. In my world we'll all collide. Speak like a boss, talk like a king. Words cut through like it's nothing.